This is an insight from WellView 365, powered by freshnews.ai. Safety-first patient messaging is shifting from nice-to-have to compliance imperative as waiting room screens come under increased scrutiny. Executive summary: safety-first patient messaging treats waiting room screens as clinical communication channels that must consistently reflect current protocols and guidance. By placing this content under controlled workflows that align with existing safety, compliance, and emergency messaging policies, most screen becomes a governed extension of clinical practice. The outcome is more reliable patient instructions, fewer conflicting messages, and stronger defensibility with regulators and risk stakeholders. Today's signal: operations leaders are being asked during annual reviews to show that waiting room screens are under clinical and compliance control or explicitly remediated. Budget and audit cycles are exposing ad hoc content practices like marketing loops and legacy playlists that do not map to an owner or policy. The risk is that an ungoverned screen shows outdated safety guidance or conflicting instructions during an event, which regulators increasingly treat as a preventable failure. WellView 365 enables support safety, compliance, emergency messaging by centralizing protocols control, protocols management, and publishing management across end-to-end delivery paths. Why it matters. Here are 4 takeaways. First, uncontrolled waiting room content can contradict current clinical policies or safety protocols and trigger findings in compliance audits. Second, lack of clear ownership for screen messaging slows critical updates during incidents or policy changes. Third, manual, site-by-site playlist edits consume staff time and create inconsistent patient instructions across locations. Fourth, documented control of waiting room screens strengthens your position with regulators, surveyors, and risk management. How it works in practice. A common example is an annual compliance walkthrough where surveyors ask who owns the content on waiting room TVs and digital signage. Operations or patient experience leads then scramble to trace old USB drives, local media players, and vendor-managed playlists, often finding no current approval trail. The process breaks when clinical, safety, and emergency messages share the same loop as generic content with no version control. When you centralize ownership, align screen content with existing patient communication policies, and require documented approval before publishing, staff can push updated safety notices and emergency instructions without chasing local workarounds. One practical adjustment. This week, assign a named operations owner for waiting room screen content. What to do next? Here are 4 takeaways. First, review inventory all waiting room screens, their content sources, and who currently updates them. Second, review existing safety, compliance, and emergency messaging policies, and map which messages must appear on waiting room screens. Third, review, create an approval workflow for patient-facing screen content that includes clinical and compliance sign-off. Fourth, review, schedule a quarterly review of all screen playlists to remove outdated items and confirm alignment with current protocols. Read more at wellview365.com.